Robert's Rebellion, also known as the War of the Usurper, was a rebellion against House Targaryen primarily instigated by Lord Eddard Stark of Winterfell, Lord Jon Arryn of the Eyrie, and Lord Robert Baratheon of Storm's End. The war lasted close to a year and resulted in the end of the Targaryen dynasty in the Seven Kingdoms and the beginning of Robert Baratheon's reign.
In 281 AC, a grand tourney was held by Lord Walter Went at Harrenhal. Many nobles from all over the Seven Kingdoms came to the Riverlands to take part in the festivities. Amongst them was the heir to Winterfell, Brandon Stark, and his younger siblings, Eddard, Lyanna, and Benjen.
The most prominent visitor of the tourney was King Aerys II Targaryen. However, Aerys had not left the Red Keep for many years, ever since his half-year capture during the Defiance of Duskendale in 277 after conquest. He was inspired to come to the tourney by words from his master of whispers, the eunuch Varys.
However, the tourney's ending was less joyful. After winning the final tilt, Prince Rhaegar Targaryen was to crown the new Queen of Love and Beauty. Instead of crowning his wife, the Dornish princess Elia Martell, Rhaegar rode past her and crowned Lyanna Stark of Winterfell instead. Eddard Stark would later recall this moment as the moment when all smiles died.
At the coming of the new year, Lyanna Stark was abducted by Prince Rhaegar Targaryen near Harrenhal. Her brother Brandon Stark was on his way to Riverrun to wed Catelyn Tully when the news reached him. Brandon rode at once to King's Landing with his companions, Ethan Glover, Brandon's squire Elbert Arryn, nephew to Lord Jon Arryn, and the heir of the Eyrie, also Kyle Royce and Geoffrey Mallister.
Brandon rode for the Red Keep, and outside its gates, unaware that Rhaegar was not present, shouted for him to come out and die. King Aerys II had them all arrested for plotting the murder of the Crown Prince, and summoned all their fathers, for those who stood accused, to court.
Lord Rickard Stark, who had been on his way south with the wedding party for Brandon's wedding, went to King's Landing with 200 men. None of them returned north. In the capital, all of those who stood accused were executed, with the sole exception of Ethan Glover, who had to give a message to Jon Arryn. King Aerys did allow for trials of a sort. Lord Rickard Stark demanded a trial by battle, and the king granted his request, but Aerys declared fire to be the champion of House Targaryen.
He had Rickard Stark suspended from the rafters in the throne room, where his pyromancers kindled a blaze beneath the Lord of Winterfell. Brandon Stark was brought in as well and placed in a Tyroshi strangling device, while a longsword was placed just outside his reach. Brandon was allowed to try and free his father, but the more he struggled to reach the sword, the tighter the cord around his neck became. Brandon strangled himself to death while trying to reach the sword to save his father.
Next, Aerys demanded that Lord Jon Arryn send him the heads of Lord Robert Baratheon of Storm's End and Eddard Stark, now the Lord of Winterfell, after the deaths of his father and older brother. Robert and Eddard were Jon's wards at the Eyrie. However, Jon instead raised his banners in rebellion. This act is seen as the start of the war, which would last close to a year.
Fighting began in the Vale of Arryn. Though Jon Arryn called all of his banners, not all of their bannermen sided with him. There were those who sided with the king. Chief among them was Mark Grafton. Grafton called all the other loyalists to aid him in barring the rebels from entering the port town. Gulltown's defences eventually fell after an unknown amount of time, with Robert Baratheon slaying Mark Grafton in the taking of Gulltown. Robert then sailed to Storm's End to call his own banners. Just as all the Lords of the Vale had not sided with Jon Arryn, not all the Lords of the Stormlands sided with Robert. The first major battle of the Stormlands took place at Summerhall. There were 3 battles, in truth, and all fought in one day. Lords Grandison, Catherine, and Fell had gathered their hosts and planned to join forces at Summerhall.
From there, they would march on Storm's End. However, thanks to an informer, Robert learned of their plans and rode with his knights and squires to Summerhall, where he attacked each host in turn. Robert killed Lord Fell in battle.
Lord Catherine and Grandison, as well as Lord Fell's son Silveraxe, were taken captive and brought to Storm's End. There, Robert turned his enemies into friends, as both Lords Grandison and Catherine, as well as Silveraxe, would later be loyal to Robert.
The next major battle was the Battle of Ashford. Robert marched out again, leaving his younger brother Stannis Baratheon in charge of Storm's End.
At Ashford, Lord Randall Tarley fell upon Robert's forces. Lord Randall was the first of the Loyalists to arrive, and with his van defeated Robert's forces before Lord Mace Tyrell could arrive with the main force from the Reach.
Following the battle, Mace Tyrell marched on Storm's End and laid siege to the castle. The siege would last close to a year. Thank you very much for watching. That was part 1.
Part 2 will be coming soon. Like and subscribe, please, and we'll keep doing these videos. Thank you.